Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my series of the book I wrote while I was in the Army. We're on to chapter 15, which is entitled The Cave. Wicket and Devon entered the other side of the waterfall soaking wet. Wicket walked towards the back and picked up some hay. Devon gave a confused look. What? Shrugged Wicket. I've been here before and stored some things here. You wouldn't happen to have some spare clothes, do you? She asked. As a matter of fact, I don't, he said as he laid the hay down, making a bed. Then we go. There we go. That looks comfortable. You expect me to sleep on that? Devon asked. You? No, this is mine. What? What happened to all your chivalry and good manners? That all left after I saw you attack back there. That is bullshit. I know, isn't it? Wicket stood up and started to take off his clothes. You better hurry so your clothes will be dry by the time we leave. You're right, this is pretty comfortable, Devon said from behind Wicket. He turned around and saw her laying in his bed. Oh, don't worry about my clothes. I can take them off while I lay down, she said as she arched her back and slowly started to take off her clothes. Wicket glared at her as he picked up his shirt and placed it on the moss-covered ground. He walked back towards the back and picked up the rest of the hay. He walked over to the middle of the cave and made another bed. You're not going to make it by mine? You mean by mine, too? No, he said as he finished it and started taking off his shoes. He grabbed his clothes and walked over to the moss. He saw Devon's clothes next to his shirt. When did she do that? Thought Wicket. He finished with his clothes and walked back to his bed. He looked over at her. She smiled as she moved her hand down the bed. He shook his head and got into his bed. He got comfortable and closed his eyes. Shortly after his eyes were closed, he felt a small tingle on his feet. He slightly moved his feet and it went away. Then it came back, but at his calves it went up to his thighs. He quickly opened his eyes and sat up. There between his legs was Devon, tickling his legs. You are very ticklish. Well, when I'm trying to sleep, of course I am. Right, trying to sleep. You have the rest of the day to sleep. But now, she said as she crawled up, Wicket so that her face was inches away from his. Let's have some fun. She lowered herself and kissed him. So you want to have fun now by playing 20 questions? Wicket joked. Devon smiled. 20 questions, huh? Well, I only have one. How do I get Donkey to come out and play? She asked as she put her hand on Wicket's inner thigh. Well, that's a start, Wicket said as he moved up and kissed her. A start, she said as she sat up on his chest. Well, then I'll just have to do more dramatic measures. She bent over and let her breast hang above his face. He smiled as she lowered herself down. Wicket lightly kissed each and slowly Wicket lightly kissed each one and slowly flicked the nipple with his tongue. His hands slowly went up and down as he switched breasts. He lightly ran his fingers nails down her back and she smiled. He lifted her up and moved her head next to his. He kissed her again. See, now we are getting somewhere. Oh, really? And where would that be? He shrugged. I don't know. Why don't you ask Donkey? Ask Donkey, huh? Okay, she said. She slowly turned around. He watched as her legs slowly moved above his face. He slapped her ass and watched as her vagina slowly moved down on his awaiting mouth. He felt a warm, wet sensation around his penis and knew that she was asking Donkey. He dug his tongue as far as he could and slowly rubbed with his fingers. After a while, they stopped and turned to face each other. Devon sat back on Wicket's stomach and smiled. Now that is a start, she said as she grabbed it and slid it in. They both smiled as they started to rock together. She grabbed his hands. You know what these are for. She put his hands on her breast. To help lift. To help lift, he said as he quickly put his arms around her and stood up quickly with her still writing. She quickly reached and wrapped her legs around as she moved his hands to her ass and went back to rocking together. Well, this is new. I've watched a lot of porn since you left, he said, and learned a couple of new tricks, I see. Why, would you rather I stick to the old ones? No, it's just new and different. Yeah, well, it's not doing much for me, Wicket said as he slowly lowered her to the ground with him on top. So I'm going back to the good ones. I can see that. Well, good. Can you see this? He said as he bent down and kissed her. Yes, I see it, but I don't see no lifting, she said as she put her hands on her breast. I know you love them, so shut up and lift. Yes, ma'am, he said as he bent down to kiss her. After a long while, the two laid by one another in each other's arms. You realize that both of us are half on hay and half on dirt, right? Wicket asked. Devon looked at him in the eyes. It doesn't matter, as long as it's with you. Well, good, then we can sleep here together. Wicket smiled and kissed her. Yeah, I guess we better try to get some sleep before nightfall, she said as she turned over. She grabbed his hand and put it in hers and fell asleep. They woke just after nightfall, still in each other's arms. Morning, beautiful, Wicket said. It's more like night than morning. Devin smiled and kissed him. It's backwards for us. I guess so, Wicket said, getting up. Well, we better get up and head back to the club. Yeah, you know what is going on there without you. Please, Jerry can run that place way better than me, he said as he put on his clothes. She walked over and started putting on her clothes. They are actually dry. Yeah, I told you they would be. I thought it was just a joke to get me naked. And you went through with it? He asked. Hey, I thought we might be having some fun. Okay, well, ready to get out of here? Yes, but do we have to get wet again? Why, you don't want to get wet again? Twice is enough, Devin said and smiled. Well, you're in luck, 'cause right above us is a hole that goes to the top of the hill. And you knew about that entrance? Yeah. So why did we have to go through the waterfall? Well, how else am I supposed to get you out of your clothes? Wicket smiled. He looked up. So are you ready? We are just going to jump up to that hole? Yeah, it's no problem. I've done it many times. Would you like me to go first? Sure, be my guest. Devin watched as Wicket squatted down and jumped up through the hole. She waited for him to come back down. After a short while, she heard Wicket's voice. You coming up or what? Yeah, I'm coming, she yelled and jumped. She reached the top and grabbed the edge of the hole. She pulled herself up and got to her feet. She noticed Wicket standing by the edge of the hill, looking over the rest of the hills. What are you looking at? He looked at her. That light coming from the bottom of the hill. So? What's so important about it? I don't know, but it's too big for just campers, he said as he took a step. I'm going to go check it out. Oh, well, this can't be fun, she said as she took off next to him. It can be if we make it, he said. He grabbed her hand. They walked together for a while until they got close to the fire. They stopped, and Wicket put his finger to his lips. We have to be quiet now. I got it. They walked up to where they could see the fire. Surrounding the fire were 10 campers all set up. There was a generator for each camper. Sitting around the fire were a lot of people talking and roasting marshmallows. Wicket and Devin watched as a man came out of the camper close to them and walked towards the fire. Hey, Craig, everybody around the fire said. Hey, guys, Craig said. Devin and Wicket looked at each other, shocked. They turned and slowly walked away from the fire. Once they were far away from the fire, Wicket spoke up. I can't believe it. I know, me neither. We need to hurry to get back to the club to tell the rest. They both took off running with their vampire speed towards the club. And that's the end of chapter 15. I forgot there was sex in that one. Tell me what you thought about it. Stay tuned for the next chapter, I guess. All right. See you next time. Bye.